The power of we was a way of inclusion, a way of inviting anyone who needed or wanted a place to belong.
It was just very clear to me that this was something that would really benefit the young folks right here.
And to be able to give them a different perspective, that I know where they come from, I know what they're experiencing because I was there too, and letting them know that there's different actions that they can take that'll lead to a different destiny.
We really needed to hear that. In order to change our community, we needed to hear that.
And they are inspired to invest in making it happen. That's powerful.
April 28th, Chicago, Stand Nation, Power Week. I'll be there and show you. Yeah, that's it, baby. Hey guys, my name is Wally Green from New York City. We have an amazing event at the Stand Mansion in Chicago. It is called The Power of We, run by my man, my boy, Mr. Lauren Harris. You guys better be there, because I will too, and I hope to see you guys soon. Peace!
I got a hangover. Yes, I do. Yep, sure do. I'll tell you all about it here in a minute. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments, y'all. We did it. T to the G to the I to the F. It is Friday, and we did it. We have worked our way to the end of the week, ready for the weekend, and we did it by changing lives all week long, one conversation, one blessing at a time. Can I get an amen? Don't you just love life? I do. Listen, man, y'all, last night, let me tell you, woo, Lordy, I stayed up till 2 a.m. Now, you already know I'm in the bed at around 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 at the latest. But I had that event, the Bay Awards, which is celebrating and during Black History Month, Courageous Man and a Courageous Woman magazine, which I am the May cover of Courageous Men magazine. Thank you, Talicia Berry, out in Los Angeles. I'm so excited about it. And so we were there, and I was a special guest, so it's kind of like a co-host. So anyway, we were there, and then I got off the phone. I made so many connections. There were like hundreds of people on the call. It was a virtual event. It was great. And guess who I was hanging with last night? Okay, I'm going to show you guys. Look at this. I got to, oh, wait a minute. You know, I'm not techie, but I want you to get, okay, there. Plus, I got up and took three blue and reds this morning, you know, the Tylenol things, because I was like, oh my God. Oh, and then couldn't get up and go. You know, I knew I wasn't going to the gym. Plus, we got 4.5 inches of snow here in Chicago, so I still have to shovel the driveway. Good luck with that one. Anyway, what is it? What am I looking for? Okay, here it is, y'all. Please be with me. I'm gonna need somebody to carry me through this show today. What am I looking for? Oh, okay, there it is. Look. Okay, wait. Okay, should I blow it up? Okay, I will. Oh, wait, that doesn't work.
Resilient,
Look.
who are out here in various aspects.
Jody Watley, I'm looking for a real love.
Heading families and
Look.
businesses and just so many things. And so it's an honor for me to accept this Lifetime Achievement Award. And, you know, with more to come. But I just thank you so much. And I appreciate it. Every day for me is in gratitude. And I just always want to be an example to other women.
I was a little bit excited.
People in general, to always not just do your best, but to, despite any obstacles that may come upon you, to persevere, to be authentic, to be unabashedly you, and to shine that light and never lose your own light, because when we shine a light to others, it's just endless. It's infinity and beyond. So thank you so much, and I'm happy to receive this Lifetime Achievement Award from Courageous Women.
Yay.
And the Black Authors, Artists, and Entrepreneurs Award.
Yay.
Okay, I felt like I was sitting right next to her. Seriously, and you should have seen me. I was typing like a court stenographer in that private chat. Hi, how you doing, Jody? What? I was like, and she gave me the thumbs up when she read my message. See, that's what you got to do. You got to do it when people are talking on Zoom, right? Because they automatically look. It was wonderful. Thank you again. Courageous Man, Courageous Woman magazine, Talicia Berry, and we were on the phone talking. Talicia Berry will be at the Power of We Symposium. Now listen, y'all, I mean it. Every single publisher of every single magazine that I was on. Where's the other ones? They're somewhere around here. All the magazines that I was on last year, the covers, and there were 3. They will be at the Power of Me Symposium. So come on, I'll hook you up. I promise. They're wonderful people. They love to give. They love to help get people and elevate people to the next level. That's what the Power of We is all about. So when is this thing called the Power of We? Wait a minute. There it is. Chicago, April 28th at the beautiful Stan Mansion. And you come on now. Come on. You all do not want to miss this event. I promise you. We pour into 250 youth ambassadors from some of the hardest hit areas of our city. And you will be blown away with how these kids will pour into you. I mean it. We made history the last time in 2019, right before COVID in Atlanta, where we did the same thing down there for 250 middle schoolers. And a few weeks later, we were summoned to New York City, where we received the GEM Award, Global Empowerment Movement from the United Nations. So God is good. What? All the time and all the time. Who? That's right. God is good. Yay. Give yourselves a round of applause. And while you're at it, show me your soul, because I'm about to show you mine. And so is our guest today. This guy, I'm excited because he is the first. If we were on the same record label, in shameless plug in 3, 2, 1. If we were on the same label, right, we would be label mates. But we're not on a label, but we're on Elevate, the masterclass. You guys, I refer to it at least 3 times a day, right? So Frank, and his last name, child, Iovine, like Iovine. Is that right? Shake your head back there. I can see you. Is it Iovine? There it is. But I bet you people, it's a kind of name you look at and you go, huh, is that old silent? You know what I mean? Right. And he's just, I'm going to tell you something. I didn't know that Frank actually had a masterclass. I saw him like emceeing something that they had put up. And I was like, now, who is that guy? I hope he's not my competition in any way, because he was just so good. I couldn't stop watching. I couldn't stop listening. I was engaged all the way from the rooter to the tutor. And he is phenomenal. You guys are going to love him. Who doesn't love somebody from New York? You know how they are. They just put their shit right on out there, right? And that's what I love. So Frank Iovine is here today. And let me give you a little heads up really quick. He's a public speaker, he says, who uses his decades of experience as an NYPD. I see back in the day, I'd have ran right now. An NYPD detective. Now, that's interesting. Let me write that, because that's not a policeman. That's different. That's a detective. You know, they wear those suits and stuff. And we've watched enough CSI. We know. So he used all that experience as a detective in New York City to help educate individuals and audiences on mental health, mindfulness, and suicide awareness. Also, suicide prevention. Now, he is a trained suicide support officer. And this is interesting. A certified breath coach. How's my check yours? Okay. Colgate. He provides methods for self-care and inner peace, as well as tools and techniques that one can use to recognize suicidal signs or thoughts in friends, families, or colleagues. And there's a whole bunch more, but he can show you better than I can tell you. And so guess what? He's a first timer. You know what we do. Put your hearts on the screen. Put your hearts into this illuminated conversation, and do me a favor, you guys. If I should, if I put him up on the screen by himself to talk, and then I'd never come back, somebody call me or something, because I'll be like that. Right? Have you ever nodded off in church? If you've nodded off in church, put it in the comments. Don't you hate that when you can't help it? You really want to, but you cannot help it. It's just like, what is it about some sermons that that's what they should do. If somebody was smart, some preacher, he would put his most boring sermons on a disc or something, so that for people who have trouble sleeping, just hit play. I'm just saying. Think about it. Watch. Guess what? Here he comes. Frank Iovine, y'all. Get ready. This is going to be good. Here he comes. And he's a chef. I'm sleep talking, by the way, Frank. So anything that comes out of this thing called a mouth today, just keep them. Ooh,
I'm sure God will make it come out what's correct, Lauren. Because when we can't speak, He speaks through us.
You must be a real diehard believer, because that's the 4th time this morning you've mentioned God.
Well, God, the universe, the cosmos. It's all very important in our lives.
Well, see, but you look like one of those tough guys from New York. I can't do it.
No, yeah. Those tough guys days ended when I was maybe 21, 22. You learn a lot.
You look barely past 21 or 22. You look great.
Well, thank you, Lauren. So do you. You're a pretty handsome fellow there, I must admit.
Stop. Go on. Go on. I'm just kidding. So listen.
Don't worry. I'll get you later.
Tell everybody where Frank is in the world today, and give us a little backstory, if you could, about little Frank. How you came up, where you came up. What was your journey like in the early days?
So I grew up in New York City during the during the 70s and the 80s when New York was New York. I went to public school. Ended up going to Catholic high school. I went to college for a little while. I never finished college. That was just due to the financial times of the time. You know, during the 70s and the 80s, nobody had money, and when the money ran out, so I ended up going into the police department.
Really?
From there, I got involved with the youth programs. So I worked directly with the youth in the PAL, the Police Athletic League. So we ran different outings, different sporting events. I actually started a program that was actually called the Graffiti Deputies. Because if you remember, in the 80s and the 70s, graffiti was a big thing in New York City. It was all over the place.
Yet. I'm sorry.
And we were trying to just get kids to understand that, you know, if you get permission to do it, it's good. If you don't get permission, then you shouldn't be writing on other people's property.
True.
So we had this whole graffiti deputy program where we ran around to all the schools in the neighborhood and we deputized all the kids as being graffiti deputies to realize what their true nature was. Then we worked in coordinates with that for the kids that were artists. There was a graffiti warehouse called the Fun Factory that the kids that were really into the graffiti could go to, and they could tag up all inside the buildings. They didn't have Instagram back then. So the local media would go in and take pictures, and then those pictures would go in like the local newspapers and everything. So it was a really nice program. What?
I said it was a nice, healthy way for them to express themselves, because that's all kids are trying to do.
Correct. That's exactly it. Just trying to give them healthy outlets to express themselves.
Okay, I got a graffiti. Wait, I got a graffiti question. I've always wondered this, seriously. Just like two things, graffiti and this other thing. The other thing is, you know how you drive in a neighborhood and you see the gym shoes hanging back in the day over the
right? Yeah, sure.
How did they get those up there? I used to sit there and stare. I was like, and that's a perfectly good shoe. They never threw old shit.
Exactly right. They always threw good shoes, brand new shoes up there.
I'm like, Lord. So, okay. And what did that mean? Do you remember? What did that mean? Somebody told me that's gang stuff or.
No, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where in it just started and everybody just followed it. I don't know the backstory to that.
I mean, because many times I was like, man, I could use those shoes, but I was scared. You know, how you gonna get up there? So what the other thing is, did you ever, as a policeman, catch kids? Because you know, when you look at some of the places they tag. How did they get there? How did they get up there?
That's a question that we always had. How did they get there? Because they get into some really, really unique. And like, there's no ledge, there's no ledge, there's no anything.
All the way across the wall.
You would think they had Spider-Man carrying them.
And
I mean that's just the way it was.
Yes. So I wonder if that's still a thing.
It is. Yeah, it is. But now, I don't know, when was the last time you were in New York? I know you were in for the United Nations thing.
Yeah, that was it. That was
all
it.
Right.
And then we went there a few years before through the Congress thing. But I've only been there like a couple times.
Right. So there's two areas
except for the rats.
There's two areas in New York, in Greenpoint and Williamsburg, where they do all the paintings on the side of the buildings. And a lot of those artists were graffiti artists, and they come up through and they end up getting jobs. And I mean, some of the work is stunning. It is just beautiful, beautiful paintings on just advertisements. Chanel, Smith glasses, Gucci, just unbelievable artwork. Unbelievable.
So I guess it's not just gang members. Why do we think that when we see that it's not just gangs?
No, it's not. No, there's a lot of kids. They're artists and they're really trying to express themselves. Give them the ability to express themselves, and they find healthy ways to express themselves. It is the best way that, you know, any adult, any organization, any community can do is let them have a healthy way to express themselves. That's why your program, The Power of We, is amazing. It's giving kids, adolescents, the ability to express themselves. And also, one of the problems, which you don't realize a lot of times until you become a lot older and you think back, you realize nobody really ever tells kids, nobody ever teaches them how to think, how to understand. And like the key thing, like I'm 56 years old and I'm still learning how to listen. My parents didn't teach me how to listen. They taught me how to talk. They taught me how to eat, but they didn't teach me how to listen. One of the most important things to be done. And so just for me, just letting kids understand that there's a healthy way for them to do what they need to do. And that also doesn't mean that there aren't adult ways that you can bring down to the youth, because our thinking doesn't change as we get older. It's the same ebb and flow all the way through. So I remember when we were talking the other day. So, and we were talking about, just the way we think and, what goes on. And I think I quoted you the study from 2005, where the American Scientific Foundation, they did a study and they found that we actually have 12 to 60,000 thoughts per day, right? Of those 12 to 60,000 thoughts per day, 80% of them are negative. Now, that doesn't make a difference whether you're an adult or a child. That doesn't change.
Really? That many are negative?
80% are negative. Now,
Frank, for real, how do you think they get those numbers?
They ask people to be honest.
What do you just think about? What do you think about? Was it negative? I mean,
that's it. But I mean, it can come from, the negative thought doesn't have to be a thought that would bring anxiety or fear. It could just be a little bit, you're on the subway and you go, I wonder if that person's thinking about me. They probably think I'm ugly.
Yeah, so looking at me. I see judging my
exactly. Why are they looking at me? And all those little things they build up. So 80% of them are negative. Now, in just a little bit more of my backstory. I got married. I have a child. After that, things happen in life, and I ended up being divorced. And after I was divorced, I ended up in the really dark places of negative thinking. And it was actually my working with the youth of then, which kind of helped me kind of get out of it, because I realized that there was a different way out. Mm-hmm. So I bumped along with dark thinking and doing things that weren't healthy for me. And as I went on, I found ways to get rid of those thoughts and realize that they're not true. It's my own mind's defense mechanisms to be able to go in. And these simple things can be used for an adult. They can be used by a child. It doesn't matter. Once the simple techniques are brought to their attention, they can then implement them in their life the way that they feel necessary. Yeah. And
let's go back down the sidewalk. Can we go back a few squares and talk about because here you were, you got this great job, a lot of stress, I would imagine, being because you were a detective. Don't you have to be a street cop or something first?
I was a street cop for 10 years. I was the youth officer. I was involved with community policing. I did all of that. And then I wanted to go up the ranks. So I ended up going to an investigative background. Okay. So from the investigative background, I ended up being a detective, and I was a detective in the South Bronx. And so
now, I just got to know, Frank, being a detective, is it as sexy as we see in the TV shows? They walk in, they wear blazers and stuff, and then they got that thing that they clip their badges on their hip, and they're like, yeah, Detective so-and-so.
I'm gonna give you the answer that for me is the closest truth. Now, you'll remember it, but I think maybe a lot of the other people in the audience, they might not remember it, but they can go get it. So you remember the show Barney Miller?
See, I knew you were going to try to put me under your old bus.
No.
remember
It's
Barney
not that
Miller.
old.
I
But do
do.
you remember the show Barney Miller?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Eric,
what
we had the
being a
big old
detective
afro,
is like.
all of that. Uh-huh.
Correct. You had all of those different personalities in the squad room, and you had a supervisor that was trying to manage them. The most amazing thing that you'll see during Barney Miller is when an emergency came through, all the personalities came together, they melded, and they went out and they solved the case.
Yeah, and you know what? This is off topic, but not really.
Not bad.
Every time I play this game with people when they're here at the house. We try to name old songs from shows like Barney Miller, and every time we try to think of the theme song for Barney Miller, you know what we hear? Dum 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 da dum dum. Dum, 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 da, dum, 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 dum. That's not Barney Miller.
No,
That's
it's not.
Fred Sanford.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Do you know the theme song to Barney Miller?
No, I do not. But now you gave me an assignment. Now I have an assignment. I will find it for you and I will send it to you.
That is let me just tell you guys. Well, I wonder why we didn't do that. I was just thinking about it. We played that game once and we couldn't think of the song for Alice. And it was like 5 of us and it got us so in our heads. We had to go to the mall back in the day when they had like Sam Goody.
Yeah, sure. The Wiz.
The record stores.
See, now you get me to date myself.
Yeah, because we were like, what is that song? And when we kept trying to think of Alice, we kept thinking of it was Good Times that everybody kept saying, no, that's not it. But anyway, that's another story for another day.
Story.
Okay, so you were on the streets. My question is, was it very stressful? I'm trying to get to this part because I want to share the screen. We're going to go to your website real quick. Because, you know, whenever you see people that work helping people through things like suicide thoughts and stuff, you go, that person. Now, here's what I love your site, by the way. It's very clean.
Thank you.
It says guiding you and others to embrace the power of self-care, heading it off at the pass, I would think, using the knowledge of our ancestors. Now, this is what tripped me up. I was like, wow. And I want to talk about this.
Okay.
Sure. To enjoy our present day life. What is that all about? Talk about that if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. So what that is about is taking the knowledge from our ancestors. And for me, it's Stoic philosophy, which is over 2,500 years old. So if you look at Stoic philosophy gives me the ability to look at situations and identify which part belongs to me and which part doesn't belong to me. Because once I can identify what doesn't belong to me, you want to know something? It doesn't bother me. It's only when I start cherry picking things to say, this is part of me, this is part of me, that I start going down that road of negative thinking. And the dark thoughts, suicidal thoughts, everybody kind of goes through a little bit of it, but it's when we stay in that realm, there's an ambiguity. And the Stoic philosophy can really, just a few simple things can get you to understand that it's not up to you. Stoic philosophy has a very strong belief in that it's all about what's in control. And I've done a lot of studying with different, like, I don't know if you're familiar with epigenetics.
Hold on, let me count. Hold on. I can tell you if I'm familiar based on how many syllables. What is it again?
Epigenetics.
No, nothing about it. Got too many syllables.
Okay, so epigenetics is the science that our environment is what causes us to be ill, either physically ill or mentally ill.
Oh,
so
boy,
our environment.
Jamie Lane, go ahead, put some stuff in the comments. She's gonna love you for saying that. Go ahead. You're right.
Our environment. And then our environment is made up of 3 basic things. It's made up of our material environment. So the air we breathe, the clothes we put on our back, the fabric softener we use, the food we eat. The second environment is your environment with nature. What's outside. And then the third environment is your spiritual environment. What is your spiritual environment? Not a religious environment, but a spiritual environment. What are your beliefs? So those three environments can, and it's proven in the science, will affect your mind and your body. Because what happens with your material environment is when you're in that environment and now you're living, say you're living in an area that has smog, and then we all have cancer genes and we all have respiratory genes, DNA that's in our systems.
Yeah.
The smog will then activate. I'm simplifying this because I still don't understand it. And I still study it and trying to get a deeper sense of truly what it means.
Okay.
But for the most part, what it means is that environment that's out there is now triggering a DNA sequence to turn on. And when that turns on, that's when we get our negative health. And so it's the same as the opposite.
Ooh.
If you're in a clean environment, it turns on your good genes.
Okay. Question. Because
Go ahead.
you know what? Because I believe that, Frank, and I believe it goes even deeper. Seriously.
Oh, it does. There is no doubt.
Right.
Lauren, it goes
There
deeper.
is a place where I lived before I came here to get married in Illinois. I lived in Michigan in a town called Benton Harbor, which is where I found my birth mother, right? But that town, I said, it's under a bubble where the people are just so negative. You know, all the black people on one side of the river, all the white people are on the other, and they're constantly at each other. It's horrible. And you just, no matter how you try to do stuff, it seems like you can't get anywhere. Nothing comes. And I'm telling you, when I was moving, honest to God, Frank, I'm not kidding you. If I was up on the second floor of the house and the truck was down there, and I swear I remember looking out the window going, the back of the truck was open. I was like, I wish I could just open up the window and throw this shit in the back of the truck. I wanted to get out of there so fast. I don't even think I shut the back of the truck. I was like, bah! And the minute I got here to this new environment, suddenly everything started feeling like I could breathe. It felt like everything was lighter. My clarity, my ideas, my belief in myself to execute. So I believe that. Talk about that. And then let's talk about this breathing thing. Because a lot of people go, breathing, coach. But you know what? Don't you remember when you were a little kid? And I was one of those ones, let somebody say something hurt my feelings because I was always getting teased. Sissy, right? Now, they call me.
I haven't heard that name, that word in a long time.
I mean, look, I said, girl. Right. Yeah. That, and the worst thing was, it's so funny. I remember one time my nieces and we had a bake sale. So we were walking around the white neighborhoods getting orders. And these kids were like, get out of here, afros. And we were all crying, they called us afros. And my mom was like, excuse me, afro is a hairdo? Why are you guys crying? We were like, oh, yeah. Okay. And we went back out. But when I used to cry, my point is, and I would be one of those ones I couldn't breathe. That. And my mom would say, just breathe. And they rub you and stuff, and then you calm down. So breathing, let's talk about that. How we use it effectively during our day. Like if I'm driving in the car, or if I just came out of an appointment, how do you tell us about that?
So breathing is, I mean, we do it every day, but we don't pay attention to it because, it's done, it's part of our auditory response system. It automatically gets done.
Yeah.
So what happens is with our breathing is we end up becoming shallow breathers. We don't breathe all the way down to our lower abdomen, which is where we can actually breathe in and out all of the stresses that come in and come out.
Okay.
So one of the key things about breathing is to pick a point below your navel, about 2 inches below your navel. And as you're breathing in, breathe all the way in. You know what? You want to do something? Something, Lauren? All right. Can we do a quick meditation?
Can we take the emphasis off of our stomachs? I'm not happy with mine right now.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Can we do a quick meditation?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. So I want
wait.
everybody...
It's not the kind where you have to close your eyes because I told you, I'll be asleep in a second.
All All right, you stay awake, and how about if we just do the audience then?
Okay.
All right, all right.
Well,
Try it.
everybody.
If we have to, we'll get somebody to wake you up. It's a
Okay.
quick one. It'll only take a couple of minutes.
Let's do it.
It's just to understand the way our breathing and our mind works.
I'm
all right?
ready.
So everybody, just close your eyes. I'm going to count to 10. And I just want everybody to take deep breaths going all the way down below their belly button. And it's going to be a 4 count in and then a 4 count out. So we're going to start now. 1, 2, 3, 4 in. 1, 2, 3, 4 out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody just keep on breathing in that rhythm. Now I'm going to give you guys something to think about. And what I want you to think about is I want you to think about the worst meal you've ever had. Just think about it. Let everything come up. Let your mind go to whatever that worst meal was, wherever it was in the world and whatever age you were. Okay? So now, Lauren, let's just cut out for a second. All right. Everybody get that? Everybody get a sensation? If you can ask everybody if they got a sensation, if you're getting the hands up in the chats and stuff like that.
Yeah, drop it in the comments if you got a sensation. I did, especially when you said that thing about the worst meal. That was easy.
Correct. All right. Well, now we're going to do this again real quick. All right. Real quick. Same thing again. So, ready? Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I want everybody to think about the best meal they've ever had. Whether if it was in Italy, if it was in California, if it was in your kitchen, in your house you grew up in, just remember those sensations. Taste it again, smell it again, and see what happens. Okay, so.
And I never smiled like this with no teeth showing. But I was eating my granny's meatloaf.
That's it. So the power of the mind and breathing. The power of the mind and breathing. The breathing relaxes the body because you're breathing all the way down to your lower abdomen. In China and in that part of the world they call it the lower dantian. So you're breathing all the way down into that and then out. So what that's actually doing is it's telling your body by breathing in and out at that slow pace that everything's okay. There are no lions and tigers and bears here.
Oh my.
Exactly. I'm in a very, very calm place and I can just let my mind, my creative mind go. Now, here's another part of that study which really rocked my world when it's part of the epigenetics, that we only use 5% of our mind. 95% of the time, we're using our subconscious.
Okay.
Only when you're being creative, when you're creating something, do you use your conscious mind. Everything else is working. Everything else is working off of habituation, things that you've learned to do.
What you call it?
Yeah. So just think about tying your shoe. If it wasn't your subconscious tying your shoe, you would have to learn how to tie your shoe every day.
Really?
Simple.
I feel like I'm what's his name on wasn't it Gary Coleman? What you talking about, Willis? Are you serious? I'm serious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, 5%. Now there will be people, of course, there will be people who say that's not true, but but people have found out and have done studies on this, and that's basically what it is.
That's so interesting. I love that.
It is, but it's the way our mind, and our bodies work. So the breathing does that. So now there's different types of breathing. Say you're a bad sleeper, right? So you can do what they call, and you're trying to get to sleep. Now, Lauren, don't do this one, Lauren, please, because you will go to sleep, and I need you with me to keep going through this, right?
I'm not gonna do it.
What you can, I'll just go over the count.
Okay.
What you do is you do a 4 count in and then a 6 count out.
So you're breathing in 4, but a 6 count out.
Right. Because what you're doing is you're signaling to your brain that I am in rest and digest. You notice how after you eat, most people fall asleep? Because their body needs to digest the food. So it's rest time. So the point is that you go into rest and digest. So now, if you actually did what they call espresso or coffee breathing, you'd be breathing even faster. You'd be breathing like this. What that does is that tells the body that, hey, I need energy. I'm being chased by the lions and tigers and bears.
You know what? That I breathe like that when I'm in the gym.
Correct.
You're
calling on your body for energy.
Oh, I wonder if that's why people like Monica Seles, the tennis player, remember she started all that grunting and stuff. When she,
I couldn't tell you. I just know from when I took my breathing course and they went over all the different reasons. There are so many things about breathing that really just, if you get the opportunity, if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'll bring them through, because I could talk about breathing for an hour.
So funny, because if you would ever have said to me that people would like go and learn about breathing, I would have thought it was like this. Remember when this first came out and we were like, buy water? I wish I would. Why would I do that when it's free? Now I can't even let tap water touch my lips, right? So I get it. Listen, we're going to take a 1-minute break. And when we come back, I want to talk to you about your Elevate Masterclass, because we both have one. And I can't wait to share your masterclass with the audience and what it's all about. You guys, listen, we'll be back in just 1 minute. Don't go away. Get your questions and comments ready. Frank will be ready to tackle all of them in 60 seconds. Okay, we're back. I didn't even put the bumper in there. I was so busy laughing at that little boy. I love that. I remember when I made that commercial, I was like, everybody's going to laugh. When you hear him giggle, isn't it something about children's laughter, how contagious and how it just makes you, I just love it. I tell you guys all the time, sometimes I just stand outside listening, in the summer, of course, listening for the kids in the neighborhood, because it fills my spirit. And another thing that I love, here it comes, and it's not a shameless plug, it's actually a paid for one. This is V8. And it was a real part of my life because I had to make a decision, and I still do every day. I try to die to something every day that does not serve me. And a couple years ago, it was Diet Coke and Monster drinks and all that crap. And I was like, if I drink this, does that mean I'm getting old? Well, probably. But anyway, it's really great. It's V8. It is, I love it because it's 100% vegetable juice. You have 60 calories in a can, which is nothing, and it's good calories. 2 full servings, 1, 2 of vegetables in every can, and it's easy to find. Just head down your local grocer's juice aisle, and you'll find it. In my store, again, I tell you all the time, it's right next to Kool-Aid boxes. Which one do I want? Which one do I want? Right? Right. So get yourself a V8 today. Pop the top, and don't say, oops, I could have had a V8. Have it. You won't regret it. And we're back with Frank Iovine. So, Frank, tell us, what's the topic? My masterclass is The Power of Purpose. And what is yours entitled, and what's it all about?
Well, my masterclass has different components in it. It brings in Stoic philosophy. It brings in breathing. But I also talk about, which is a big part of it, is self-care and using what I call the 80-20 equation. Now, the 80-20 equation is something that's all over business. It's in a lot of places. A lot of people know about it. And it goes back to what I spoke to you about earlier, that we have 80% of our thoughts are negative. So in understanding that 80% of our thoughts are negative, well, that leaves 20%. And when I went to grade school, 80% is more than 20%.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Right.
So, well, if I think about this, and if I know I actually called up my buddy Jason, who's an engineer, and I said, dude, you got to explain this to me. So if I have a substance of 80% and it's putting pressure on 20%, how is it that 20% is not breaking down? It's not disintegrating. And he says, well, that would be because that 20% has to be made of a stronger material. I went, all right, so give me some examples. He says, well, if you have cement and iron, if you have titanium can hold back those pressures that would normally crush a piece of steel. I said, okay, all right. So now I understand it. So when I took the 80-20% of our thoughts, so 80% are negative, that means that 20% are positive. That's what that means.
Yeah.
So, all right, how do we identify our 20%? Is there a system to identify our 20%? Is there a way to find out if our 20% is damaged and we got to repair it? So what I look to is that now I go back to our ancestors. I go back to the Stoics. And the Stoics are very, very big on virtues, but not the same way that we would understand them in modern times. So there just a couple of their virtues is, one is wisdom. The other one is temperance, which is another word for moderation.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Is compassion. So, and then another one is gratitude. So these are all very powerful things. And once we start to learn to use them, we have to remember that the universe, the cosmos, God instilled us with that 20% to be able to hold back the 80%. So how do we identify it? Well, we have to do something called an inventory. So we inventory not our negative thoughts, we inventory our positive.
Positive.
Correct.
That's why you have gratitude lists and vision boards and things like that.
Correct. Doing a gratitude list. One of the other things which is really big, which I've instituted in my life, is a very, very, very simple tool that my buddy Mike gave me.
Okay.
Everybody knows what a hula hoop is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to jam on hula hoop.
So when I get into a tough situation, whether if it's with my ex-wife, my family, friends, a situation in the supermarket, anywhere, what I do is I step inside my hula hoop. And then I look, because everything within the hula hoop is under my control. Everything outside the hula hoop is not within my control. And it's got no part of me. Why am I being lured outside of it? So I automatically just click, hey, is this in my hula hoop or is this outside of my hula hoop? No, that's outside of my hula hoop. Well, that's got nothing to do with me. So I can just move on and keep on going throughout my day. There's no reason for me to stay and get angry. You know, there's just no reason. There's no reason to get upset. So it's just a way for me to check myself. So, but with the injury, I'm sorry, Lauren.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
That's exactly it. So then when I do the inventory and I check myself regularly to see where I might need to upgrade, like, you know, temperance. All right. So my moderation, you know, am I sneaking too many snacks every once in a while? You know, what am I doing to show and show myself that my moderation is in, my temperance is in order? And what about courage? You know, there was I heard this, I can't remember where I heard this, but I found this statement to be so amazing, Lauren. It said that fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision.
Yeah. I heard that. I can tell you where I heard it.
All right, where'd you hear it?
Just the other day, I heard that in Brendan Burchard's book, the Motivation Manifesto. But he kind of said courage is a choice. Same thing, decision, choice. He said courage is a choice. And I was like, man, that's a good one.
Correct. So fear. So now, if we go back to fear is a reaction.
Yeah.
Fear is part of that 80% of negativity. So how do we make sure we have the courage to walk through the fear? Because there's nobody that's absent of fear. If anybody tells you they're absent of fear,
and
don't hang out with them.
You need fear. You
Correct.
But we should work on being fearless.
Correct. So that means we need to work on our courage. So how do we work through our courage? What do we need to build that up? So when I look at where I am, I look at my strong points, I look at my weak points in those areas. Now, one of the things which I want to get back into.
That's a dicey subject right there, though, Frank. Looking at your weak points, that's not easy for a lot of people because you have to be authentic with yourself. You know, a lot of people can't admit their weak points. They won't because they're so busy hiding them from the world.
I understand that, and it's very true. What I found out is the more I look at my weak points, the easier I can correct them. And when I can correct them, I feel like $1,000,000.
Give me an example of one that you approached a weak point and did what you're talking about.
Okay, so let's just talking about getting into now. You're going to find this kind of funny, but it's something that I had to do, which was getting into confrontations with people. I am a non-confrontational person. I do not like confrontation. I know that's hard to believe coming from a law enforcement background.
And New York.
But I do not like confrontation. But I also have to be able to stand my ground, but I have to stand my ground appropriately. So when one of the things that I do is when I see people and they have those scowls on their face and they're angry looking, I smile at them just to see what happens. I'm waiting for somebody to punch me in the face, but that's one way of doing it. Now, here's a simple way. Now, I know you're going to think this is crazy, and some people call me crazy, but it is what it is.
Join the club.
So, in order to get my patience and my tolerance of and understanding what's truly within my control, when I go to the supermarket and I go shopping, everybody's always looking for the shortest line, right? All right, I'm going to go to this line. No, I'm going to go to that line. I'm going to go to this line.
Right.
Every once in a while, I pick out the longest line and I wait in the longest line.
I know.
Just for me to understand that all I am is just another piece in God's world, and I have to do my part. And if that means waiting in line, it means waiting in line. The person in front of me is not doing anything. Have you ever read the book, The Four Agreements?
Duh. Hello. I quote it 20,000 times a day. Yes.
One of my favorite books. One of my favorite books.
Mine too, Frank.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Makes life so much more manageable, doesn't it?
Oh my God, it does. Without a doubt. But not
Hallelujah.
taking anything personally. So when I'm in the supermarket and the person in front of me is slowly putting their stuff up on the thing and I'm in a rush, why am I taking that personally? This person doesn't know me. This person didn't
that's
flip me
one of
the
my
bird
weaknesses
before we
right
came
there.
in.
You nailed
It's-
it. I was like,
It's crazy.
right.
So one of the other things which, and I've learned a lot of this stuff just by taking time to read and understand things, is, did you know that joy is an outward feeling? When you see people that are joyous, they are outward. Their shoulders are back. They're in a very, their posture is open. Joy is outward.
Like that.
Exactly. Smiling, everything's
Shoulders
good.
are up.
Fear is inward.
Eyebrows are up. Because like that thing. Do you believe that one? The thing about there's a number for how many muscles it takes more.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
To frown than it does to smile.
Correct. So joy is an outward emotion. Fear is an inward, and you bring people that are in fear kind of go in. And that means you're bringing the fear and whatever negativity is in on yourself, and that weighs you down.
And holding it
Because
you're holding space. And it takes us away from our natural desire to be of service. Everything goes out. You're absolutely right, Frank. You're absolutely right.
So now, just what you just said, Marcus Aurelius, one of the most amazing things. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome. Everybody knows him from the movie Gladiator, right? Most people would. He was the emperor of Rome. He was a Stoic philosopher, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of his quotes, his book, The Meditations, is his own personal journal to himself, is how to behave like a human being. Because it was his belief and the way he was taught by Epictetus, who I'll get into in a minute, by Epictetus, that as a human being, our job is to help one another. The same way that bees help one another, the same way that all the animals help them. We are human beings. We are meant to help one another. That's our job. That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, now, one of the most amazing things about Marcus Aurelius is he was the emperor of Rome, and he studied Stoic philosophy from Epictetus. Or Epictetus, depending on how you want to say the name. Everybody
better hepatitis than hepatitis. Okay, I'm sorry.
Very true. So Epictetus was actually a freed slave. So think about it. You have the emperor of Rome, most powerful man in the world, studying the philosophy on how to be a human being coming from a freed slave.
See, Frank, you're just so smart. We're going to have to get you back here one of these days. Listen, we have run. I told you it was going to go fast, didn't I?
All right.
Fly by. Listen, you guys, underneath our names on the ticker tape.
Can I do a little self plug for my cookbook?
Oh yeah, hurry!
There we go, everybody.
Cookbook.
That's right, my cookbook, Meals and Memories with No. and it talks about it's 55 Mediterranean recipes, heart healthy,
I bet they're
along
good.
with 16 stories how my grandfather came to this country in 1921 and was never able to go back to Italy and see any of his family again. Like a lot of immigrants in the world. They come to the United States and they're never able to get back. So it's on Amazon. You can buy it from my website. Just go to the website, Meals in Memory with No. And that's enough of the self-plug. I don't want to overdo it.
Here, let me put it up. I'm going to put it back up. It's also, you guys, I dropped Frank's masterclass link in the comment section. So when we're finished here, click on it, go over, check it out.
Please do.
The Elevate Masterclass alumni, everybody over there is just it's just packed with great content for you, and the book, the cookbook, and boy, those olives looked great that you put on the cover. I was like, ooh. I saw that. What's it called? What's that one? The dark one? Kalamata.
The Kalamata olives. Yep.
Love them. Frank, tell people what they will find when they head over here to your website. That's everything, right?
Right. When they go on my website, they can email me. They can book me. I can do a 15-minute call just to go over stuff. Everything is on the website, or they can go to Elevate, because maybe, and this is a very honest thing, maybe they come in for me and then they find somebody else, and it's a 2-for-1 deal.
That's right.
They can because there are so many talented people.
Many. Absolutely.
It's amazing. It really is amazing.
The content over there is just so bountiful. I really encourage you guys to head over to elevate.ac and check it out. You'll do yourself something big. It's not even a favor. It's a blessing. So head over, won't you? Frank Iovine, it has been just a thrill. What a great way to end and round out the week. I appreciate you. We got to stay connected. If you're in the area,
I'll stay in contact, and whenever you want me to come back on, we'll finish the dialogue.
I would love it. I want you to come to Chicago. I want to come there. I want to hang out, and I hope you can make it to the Power of We. I think the kids would just love.
If you just let me know when, and I'll make it happen.
Okay, there it is. You guys heard it here. Now listen, come back Monday, won't you please? Wait till you meet this woman, Cecilia Morris. I love her. I met her. She started coming to my free mastermind. That's every other Saturday. Shameless plug. Slam the Hammer. And she said she was ready to nail it. That was over 1.5 years ago. Wait till you hear what she has done in the last 1.5 years. And man, it is going to rock your world and inspire everything within you that has not come to fruition yet, because this woman, she did the dang thing. That's Cecilia Morris Monday, and we have an entire lineup of luminaries and illuminated conversations just for you starting Monday. I will meet you, God willing, on the front porch. As we do it again, we come together to fulfill that greatest promise that says that when two of us with a like-minded spirit comes together, something wonderful is bound to happen. Get out there and be the very best. Be the blessing you want to receive. Frank, thank you. Have a great week.
You're welcome, Lord. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Same for all of you. I love you, love you, love you. Have a great week, and I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.